Speaking of controversial art forms, I happen to know that one of the things you think is art, and I would agree, are video games.
Yes. Yes. Video games actually are honestly another one of the most comprehensive forms of art, along with the culinary arts. Not because of the senses that they appeal to, but because of the various forms of art that they take upon themselves. And I will use God of War as an example. The one for the PS4, the 2018 one. That game is art. For one thing, it's breathtakingly beautiful. Designed by a human hand and not by AI. Breathtakingly beautiful. The way that Kratos moves, there's just something about it that is just real and true. And it also has a story. Now, I'm not going to say that every video game is by nature art, because not every video game will take you out of yourself and cause you to think about something else, something higher. But what God of War does is take you out of yourself and cause you to think about the relationship of father and son, which is really the most important human relationship that any man will ever know. Father and daughter is the very close second. But just having that experience, I can tell everybody that what I feel with my sons is significantly stronger and far more potent than what I feel with my daughter.
Yeah.
Now, what my wife feels with my daughter is significantly stronger and far more potent than what she feels with my sons. We were just talking about this earlier today. She was holding our newborn Raymond and said, I feel different with the boys than I do with her. And I said, well, yeah, that's because they're boys. You love your boys and you love your children equally, but the connection that you have with them, with a mother and her daughter, is going to be stronger than with a mother and her son. And the connection that a man has with his sons is going to be far stronger than he has with his daughters. But to go back to why God of War, at the very least, is a piece of art, it's because of that. Because it illustrates that relationship between father and son. Causes people to think about that. And even it causes people to think about it even if they don't know they're thinking about it, which is part of art being true and good, is because it feels alive. And in the sense of a video game, not just because it is motion and not just because it speaks. It is because it just feels alive. Again, because I will continually bring this up until we're finished recording this, another reason why AI is not capable of creating art. I have never seen a piece of anything done by AI that felt alive. That's actually how you can tell something is done by AI. If you pay close attention, it does not feel alive. I'm not going to ask for responses on them. I'm just going to keep throwing needles at you until you finally agree with me.
No, I'm actually secure in my position.
So
But
yes,
anyway,
video games can be art.
well, absolutely. I mean, as any man does, I have dreams about what I would like to do with my sons and daughters one day. And for a long time, one of the things that I have wanted to do with my daughters is for the father daughter dance at their weddings, sing, have them pick Cinderella by Stephen Curtis Chapman. And I know I can't pick it for them. I know they have to pick it. But I hope they pick that. And for my boys, it's to play God of War with them. Both of them, the 2018 and the 2022 one. We need not talk about anything before that, but those two games deserve all manner of praise.
Yeah, I haven't played
And
Ragnarok,
by the
but
time I
the
have
way you keep talking
sons
about
that
it,
are
I
like
should.
10 years old, hopefully they have those games like remastered, like even better than they are now. Although they don't need it. They're amazing as is.
Not really, they're gorgeous.
Yeah. But they'll be remastered by then because, of course, sure, we'll all have 16K TVs and who knows what. But anyway, like, I hope I get to play that with my sons. That's going to be one hell of a time.
I do as well. And the only reason that it would need a remaster is because is if the quality of the screen becomes so good that it makes it look bad, if you know what I'm talking about. That's why I can't watch anything in 4K. I can watch almost nothing in 4K. At least I really don't like 4K because it's such good quality that it can make stuff look bad. You see the flaws in everything so much easier when the quality is so much better.
I have a hunch as to why. You tell me if I'm right. In reality, your vision is, well, let's just say as good as 4K. I don't know how to put
I don't
2020
even know
vision
that
next to a certain number of pixels and equate that.
I don't even
But
know that perfect human
in
vision is as
life,
good as 4K. But yeah,
regardless of whether that's true or not, though, in life you're always focusing on kind of one thing at a time. You maybe you take a room in, but like your focus is different, and so you're not seeing everything as crystal clear at once, all at once.
mm-hmm.
And so to see everything in a scene crystal clear, in a certain sense, is different from the human experience.
Yeah,
Am I hitting on something there?
yeah. It's part of when you're doing a film or when you're making a video game, you need the immersion. So if you do something that is too good, it ruins it. Like, we don't need a rendering of every single hair on somebody's head. Because if you're looking at a person, you don't see every single hair on their head. I don't see every single hair in your beard right now. I see your beard.
Mm-hmm. You see
There,
3 colors out of 7.
there's a reason they have that old saying, you can't see the forest for the trees. Well, if the detail is too good, then you won't see the trees. You'll see the trees too well, and then you won't pay any attention to the forest, which is what
Yeah,
you should actually be looking at in that case.
you should have the ability to do one or the other
Yeah,
at any given
I
point
don't
in
need
time.
every flower perfect. If I'm watching a movie, I don't need to see every single hair in Morgan Freeman's nose. I don't. And I shouldn't have to. Because I don't pay attention to that with other people. Because then that's something, when you see a flaw in something that's otherwise perfect, you can't look at anything else. It's like if my wife suddenly developed a massive zit right here. I love my wife. I desperately want to look at my wife, but because of that, I can't look at anything else. And even if it was a little one, and mostly imperceptible, but my vision is so good and the lighting is so good that I notice it. Again, I can't see anything else until it's dealt with.
To return to the video game topic, I mean, we've listed some really good, 2 really good ones with the God of War games. Any other good
Ghost of
ones that come
Tsushima,
to
I would
mind?
put as another one.
Ghost of Tsushima. Okay,
Yeah. Halo as well.
agreed.
First, at least, definitely the
At least
first
most
three
of
in
it. At least
Reach.
most of it is art.
Yeah, the first three in Reach. Halo Reach in particular, actually, is almost even more artistic than the original 3 games. Although you take 2 and 3 together, and that's kind of the pinnacle of first-person gaming as far as story and gameplay is concerned.
Here's an odd one to throw at you. Is Helldivers 2 art?
Yes.
I would argue it is. But if you
Yes.
think about the subject matter, it is kind of it's a dystopian world.
It is a dystopian world, but it actually does, like, granted, the entire point of it is that it is satirical. For democracy, well, obviously it's not real democracy because they're told who to vote for.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it does cause you to think about something outside of yourself. Is it good that we are fighting the Terminids and the Automatons and the Illuminate? Yes. Why? Because we're protecting people.
Mm-hmm.
We are protecting human life.
Yep.
And in the case of the Illuminate, they are coming with the Automatons, they're coming specifically to destroy human life. With the Illuminate, they're coming specifically to overtake human life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Terminids just need to be exterminated because they are actually, all 3 of those are enemies of man's own invention, which is part of the irony and satire of Helldivers. Because the automatons were created by a cyborg race that was a villain in the first game, that was created by humanity as a theoretical replacement for humanity. So man then creates these cyborgs who then create the automatons, and the automatons decide they're better than the cyborgs and wipe out the cyborgs and take over. Which
Even in
again,
the case of of
It's just a
regrettable
lesson there.
missions and
The
campaigns and other such with Helldivers too. I think you could still qualify it as art, at least at minimum for the satire reason. So, and for
Well,
another
yes,
reason too.
because there is a message and there is something that is taking you outside of yourself. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
lessons in that is that all three enemies are enemies of man's own invention, and you shouldn't have did that in the first place, and now you have to deal with the consequences. The Illuminate were kind of keeping to themselves until man decided he wanted to conquer them. And then we beat them into man beats them into submission. The Illuminate flee, and then they come back ready to take over and do what we thought they were going to do the first time. The Terminids were basically being bred to use as fuel for space travel, and it got out of hand because it was mismanaged. And again, we probably shouldn't have been breeding giant bugs to use as fuel in the first place. You did the thing, and now you got to pay for it, which is like the entire Old Testament. You shouldn't have done the thing. You were told not to do the thing. You did the thing, and now there are consequences for having done the thing.
Yep, this is true. And to anybody listening that doesn't accept most or all of those reasons, I would offer this one too. The other way that it's an art form, like say that you take the entire story and you just say, no, I reject all of these premises for why it's art. Then I would throw the satire back at you, but I would also throw back at you that it's a good time with friends. There's team building, there's character development. Ethan has a very different play style from me. We both do different things for the squad when we're playing.
I like to hit what I aim at.
I like to get more kills. But anyway,
There's more than once that I have had both the highest kill number and the highest accuracy.
so you had it twice? No, you had it more than twice. But you walked into that one. Anyway, but the teamwork aspect and the community aspect of playing the game, I think, is important. And just like if your sons can go on the lawn and hit each other with swords in good fun, I think the same is true for video games. Where I'm going with this is that even Call of Duty is a work of art and a good game, in my opinion. As much as that might piss some people off.
I
Because at the
think
end
with
of the day,
Black Ops,
it's really just the video game version of going into the yard and hitting other people with swords for fun.
if you include Warzone and Black Ops 6 in that, you're probably going to piss a lot of people off.
I mean,
But
I played Black Ops 6. First Call of Duty game I'd played in a while. Even then, the campaign was fun. And beyond that, it's just another Call of Duty game. So fits the bill for me.
I wouldn't know. I just know there's a lot of people mad about Warzone and Black Ops 6.
I would be mad about it. Like, for me to call it art and for me to call it good, I don't have to say it's that artistic and I don't have to say it's that good. It can be pretty inferior as far as I'm concerned, but I would still call it art.
But here's the thing is that there's also a lot of video games also have a story, and the story also has to be good. So the story is part of the art of the video game, which is we were uh, why we were listing both God of War games and Ghost of Tsushima, because the story is also excellent and also is based on an understanding of human nature. Even though Kratos is a god, he is actually very human because that's how he started.
Yep.
It's human nature. It's an understanding and a representation of human nature and causes you to think about something outside of yourself. The only reason I have a counterpoint against Call of Duty is that I don't know that it is an active thinking outside of yourself. And I wouldn't say that just the team building aspect of something or the team play aspect of a game is what would make something art, because something can be good and not be art. So art is something that is made by man, is true, good, and beautiful, and uh, takes you outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That is what art is. That doesn't mean that anything that falls into those categories is automatically art.
This is true.
So I don't know that when my sons go out and beat each other bloody with the wooden swords that I'm going to make for them, I don't think that I'm going to call that art. It is good, it is true, and it is beautiful, but I don't know that I would call it art. Because that is a thing done, not a thing created.
I would argue that, say, I have a broader definition of art, but I would argue that it is a piece of art, and it's also part of a bigger piece of art,
Well,
which is their life.
I would say it is a scene within the grand piece of art of creation,
Mm-hmm.
is what I would call that. But I would not call that in itself art. I'm not going to take a piece of a painting and say that's a painting, because it requires the context of the rest of the whole. I'm not going to take just the Leviathan axe from God of War and say that is art in and of itself, because it, as a tool within the game, is a part of a greater whole. A piece of art is not itself art. A piece of something is not the thing of itself. And
The axe is
I have
definitely art.
Aristotle to back me up,
Yes, but the
and
axe is
Thomas
its own.
Aquinas.
The
And I
axe
know
is
you
its
can't
own thing
argue with
too.
either of them.
The axe is its own thing, so they would agree with me that when they say that the Leviathan axe is a piece of art. Also, Man at Arms Reforged would agree with me.
It is a piece of art when it is made real.
And when it's an asset in a video game.
Again, agreeing to disagree on that.
All right.
But a piece of something is not the whole of the thing.
No, but it can be the whole of itself.
A wheel is not a car.
No, it's a wheel. It can be a beautiful wheel, an artistic wheel.